welcome back to Muni Mayhem. I'm Vox, and finally, after an 11-month hiatus, Star vs. the Force of Evil is finally back with its final season. Now, we are getting 2 brand new episodes each week. Yeah, that's a lot to break down, but that means every Monday you won't get just 1, but 2 breakdowns. That way, the rest of the week can just be dedicated to theories. And real quick before we begin, I just want to shout out all of our patrons over at patreon.com/roundtablevids. Your support truly helps us grow. It helps ensure our future and sees through that we can do amazing things. If you want to become a patron, head over to Patreon right now. Become a member. Any amount is a good amount, but check out our tiers. There are some awesome perks such as shoutouts. So let's start our breakdown of the final season with its premiere, Butterfly Follies. And of course, spoiler warning in case you have not seen this episode yet and you do not want to be spoiled or anything else that gets referenced within this breakdown. Ready, set, go. First off, what does this episode title mean? Butterfly Follies? Well, Follies, or in its singular form, folly, is defined as lack of good sense or foolishness, clearly referring to how the Kingdom of Muni feels Star's act of granting the throne towards Eclipsa as a thoughtless one. Of course, the Kingdom tends to despise monsters, so doing anything to enable them will be seen as a negative reaction. Both this title and the contents of the episode does a great job at establishing the conflict between the Kingdom of Muni and all the humans with their animosity towards Star and Eclipsa. So going back to the very beginning, we open with Star, Marco, and River in a tower on the hunt for Queen Moon, who's lost after coming to the realm of magic following her battle with Meteora, only to be relocated by the Firstborn, although she still lacked her memory. Her location unknown. As Star, Marco, and River engage in combat, Star's using wandless magic. Remember, at the end of Conquer, she gave her wand, and by extension the Kingdom of Muni, back to Queen Eclipsa, finding her to be the rightful owner. Star's previous experiences dipping down, and more recently, getting control to her immunity state, has given her the confidence and focus to perform magic without the aid of any other tools. Meanwhile, Marco is fighting with El Chapo, a sword which made a named appearance in Divide, something Marco proudly drew attention to while planning strategy to defeat Meteora. I'm glad to see it's sticking around for more than a one-off appearance. Final season and all, they need to pull out all the stops and all the callbacks. I could be looking way into it, but it appears the spiked mace, one of the guard sports, has a nod to Steven Universe. The end of its hilt has a star, sporting a pink-red gemstone on the center. That kinda looks like the cut of a rose quartz, Steven's gemstone in the series. And of course, the star not only represents the star he wears on his shirt, but serves as a reoccurring symbol for the crystal gems. Star almost loses her photograph of Beach Day, an event we never saw on the show, yet whenever it appeared, it had great significance and focus, for a very interesting reason we'll learn later that explains the value Star possesses towards it. Judging by the dialogue of the prisoner our heroes encounter, not only do the townsfolk of Muni still hold on to the events of Song Day, using the information revealed there against the Butterfly family, but the line, conspiring with evil queens, has me thinking, uh-oh, somehow Moon's involvement in infiltrating the Royal Archive and staging the trial to expose the Magical High Commission was made public. Apparently, Globgor's status within Romulus's crystal is also out in the open, despite Romulus's snake arms hushing him from elaborating further just what the Monster Temple was in Monster Bash. We also learned Eclipsa has outlawed the imprisonment of monsters, aware of how cruel they were treated and eventually driven off following everything with Star's party. Ideally, Eclipsa's rule will bring a better life for monsters, but let's hold that thought for when we reach this episode's second half. Marco checks off all the locations they've gone to in search for Moon, and we get to see more of a fleshed out map of Muni. During promotion for Season 3, Disney XD aired a promo that focused on the different kingdoms: Cloud Kingdom, Castle of Arius, Pigeon Kingdom, Waterfolk Kingdom. But what I find most interesting is Forests of Unlikely Spider Bites, with an upcoming episode, Surviving the Spider Bites, and Eclipsa's ex-husband, King Shastakan, hailing from this forest royal family. This is location for us to remember. We get a quick appearance from Tom, and this entire sequence is very telling. I'm not afraid to say it, Star is not in the right place to be dating anyone right now. If this is how she treats her boyfriend, more or less inferring that she feels Tom is of lower level intelligence, that he wouldn't know what a tower is, when he's royalty, just like her, although he actually retains his status, and she's been to the underworld many times. Plus, last I checked, we had an entire episode where Star was too lazy to resolve a math problem, and when she finally did it, after almost destroying reality, she got it wrong. Not to call Star unintelligent by any means. Not being book smart does not equate to a lack of intelligence, but it was all just like, where does she get off? When has Tom ever shown to not be on the same level of intelligence as her? The fact he had to immediately call Marco for reassurance was cosmically hilarious, but I just hope Tom realizes he may deserve better sooner than later, but can still maintain a healthy friendship with Star and Marco, even if those two get together. After exchanging with a fan of Star's, we learn monsters have returned to the kingdom of Muni, yet we don't really see Bullfrog anywhere, so I'm going to hold out a bit to see if this change is as smooth as it's being played out by the monsters. Bullfrog does specify he returned when it was Star's time to lead Muni, so perhaps Eclipsa ain't cutting it for him. This polite monster points him to the Pie Carnival, where Moon is utilized as a selling point. Despite everything, the general consensus seems to be in Moon's favor. After all, it's not her fault her daughter handed over the kingdom to Eclipsa, or something like that. We know Moon skewed towards anti-monster, so of course her image is intact. Marco is charged $650 for a pie, gotta keep that running gag, and Moon is essentially being used as a mascot for this carnival. Little bit creepy if you ask me. Manfred conducts a Butterfly Follies stage play. Ha! Episode name drop, which we covered when this section was released way back when. But to give you the rundown, this play very much paints Star in the same light as Eclipsa, a foolish monster lover who has no sense of responsibility, portraying River as a selfish king with no ambition, and excluding Marco entirely. Yet, something we didn't see in that clip was the introduction of Queen Moon into the play. Portrayed by a fabulous drag queen, Eric, Star mistakes this actor as her actual mother, enraging the crowd who realizes she's the real Star Butterfly after she uses magic. After a bit of playful scolding, Star transforms Eric into a hilariously adorable frog rabbit, which proceeds to latch onto a bird and ascend to greater heights. Long live Eric! A disappointed Star wants the group to retrace their steps once more, but Marco suggests they make a pit stop home. I think we were all wondering, where is home now? Star is no longer royalty. Where are they staying? Eclipsa surely has control of Muni Castle. Is she letting them reside there? Well, the answer is a lot more interesting and completely breaks the status quo, which was just broken last season. Star and the gang has been residing in the new Monster Town, built around the Monster Temple. That ominous music cue doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. The new Monster Temple is effectively being used as the new Muni Castle, with both monsters and humans residing in the Royal Guard. Though Manfred hosting the Butterfly Follies makes me wonder why he wasn't let go. I don't really see someone bigoted and anti-monster remaining in Eclipse's domain. As Star and Marco enter the temple, we can see the ruins of Muni Castle in the distance. Most cartoons would have had this castle rebuilt off-screen, restored in an instant. Yet here, it appears the damage from Meteora's rampage will stick. Amongst the rampant changes, in this adjustment period on Muni, Eclipsa has also employed a slew of hardworking individuals to liberate Globgor from his imprisonment, although we really get a feel for just how hard Romulus's crystals are, shattering a pickaxe, which seems to be just one of many. We know from trailers, this production will escalate into an inevitable confrontation with Romulus himself, who will likely have strong feelings towards Eclipse's ambitions. Meanwhile, we're served a look at Star and Marco's new room, which is still under renovation. Interesting that Eclipsa decided to put them in the same room. Remember back in Lintcatcher, Eclipsa immediately inferred Star's rant as boy troubles, simply responding with, "So, what's his name?" I think she sees the chemistry and tension between the two, and that someone might just be on hashtag Team Starco. I'm just guessing. In Star and Marco's room, an infant Meteora crawls up the wall and turns her head 180 degrees exorcist style before leaping into her gleeful mother's arms. Meteora gives a very nasty look to Marco, concerning Diaz as he questions if she retained her memories. Eclipsa doesn't seem to be too sure, but lean towards everything being a clean slate, and that if Meteora did remember everything, it wouldn't be pretty for anyone. Plot point alert! Don't worry, we'll be discussing this at another time this week. Star uses the all-seeing eye in an attempt to locate her mother, but is frustrated. Nothing's working. If she was able to find Globgor when he was imprisoned in the Monster Temple, despite never being to that location before, why can't she find her mother? Speaking of Globgor, she luckily encounters everyone's favorite mentor, salting his pudding as if it's a well-seasoned full-course meal. Although for him, I guess it is. Looking for a straightforward answer, Star wants to know how the magic affected her mother, but Globgor insists that the true question is, what was Star doing in the magic dimension at all? Which is very in line with the Firstborn's dialogue in Conquer, when she did away with Star and Moon.
She wasn't supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here either.
Star argues she had to go there to find her mother, just like she had to go there to defeat Toffee. And Globgor remarks, as if he had to force it out of himself, maybe that was a mistake too. Gasp! What? Okay, you know this line absolutely had me going crazy, as I've been in the vocal minority that Toffee will return for years, only to get hushed by non-believers. This line definitely goes deeper than we may think. Of course, this is a theory I'm going to get out sooner than later, so be on the lookout for that. Mark my words, Toffee isn't done yet. And I think I know why. Globgor seems as if he knows something about Toffee, something that could seriously affect Star and her victory against him if she knew. I'm not saying Toffee's good by any means, but perhaps he was meant to stick around for the grand scheme of things. That from what Globgor can see, the trail of events before us won't result in a happy ending unless Toffee's in the picture, that he actually does have a role in all of this. I have a strong belief Toffee will be making his way back into the fold very soon. After reading the Book of Spells when it released, which Darren FC promoted as a Season 3.5, and that some of its contents will be in Season 4, I believe Toffee had to be removed. That they wouldn't have been able to set up Globgor, Eclipsa, and Star's mission of the Monster Mumin Treaty if Toffee was still lurking in the shadows. I reassure all of you, there's a great chance things will make sense very soon in the show. Again, the second half of this episode is completely focused on establishing plot points for the season. Speaking of established plot points, this next one probably blew my mind the most out of everything in the premiere. Marco attempts to introduce the idea that maybe Moon is out of the picture for good, but Star has a compelling argument against such a notion. You know that photo that started popping up around Season 2? The one Star went above and beyond to protect in the opening of this episode? Her and Marco having a beach day? You know how we never saw that photograph despite popping up for years? Yeah, it's time travel shenanigans. Father Time gave this photograph to Star a long time ago, from a future event that Star feels is nearing, and that she can't be as happy as she is in that photo if they never find Moon. But, I'm sorry, what? Photo from the future? As Marco says, that's so many layers of time paradoxes. And just kinda messed up if you think about it. This cannot be an ordinary photograph of a one-off day of relaxation. What transpires on this day is huge. It's something they've apparently been building up to since Season 2. Or at the very least, they retconned it to act as such. And whatever it is, it'll blow our minds. Whatever happens, I think it'll be in direct relation to Star's relationships with Tom and Marco. Oh no, do you guys hear that? The shippers, they're coming! With the upcoming episodes Swimsuit and Lake House Fever, I think things are about to get intense and potentially build up to just what this photo is. What significant meaning it has in the grand scheme of things. Oh boy, 3 plot points established in 5 minutes. Marco treats himself to a goodnight pie until it catches Star's attention, where she recognizes the butterfly-shaped top as something unique to her mother. And viewers of this channel, or those who read the Book of Spells, will recognize these pies as one of Comet Butterfly's, Moon's mother's, recipes. I love when things come together. With this revelation in an unexpected place, Star has a new lead, Pie Island. And that brings Butterfly Follies and our breakdown to a close. Man, what a premiere. There's just so much that went into it. So much that establishes upcoming episodes in the season. Guys, I'm just so excited and emotional. I seriously think this final season is going to pull out all the stops and maybe Star's strongest season yet. The first half of this episode may have been weak, but I think a portion of that is due to seeing most of it at San Diego and New York Comic-Con. The second half being left mainly under wraps and establishing anticipating this upcoming season and the potential conflicts ahead was a lot stronger as a result. But what did you guys think of this episode? And out of all the potential plot points they established, which one has you the most excited? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for my own thoughts on the episodes, you can find me at AwestruckThoughts. Of course, we're also on Instagram. You can help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel with the join button, or supporting us over at Patreon. Links to everything in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please sort of like and subscribe to the Roundtable so you never miss any great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. AwestruckThoughts out!